Welcome back, everyone, to the deep dive. Today we're taking a look at true crime, but with a twist.
Oh,
We're diving into cases involving couples who committed crimes together.
that's a fascinating, and I have to say, pretty dark area to explore.
Oh, absolutely. It's going to get intense. We've got a bunch of YouTube videos lined up.
Okay, so we're going straight to the source.
Exactly. We'll be breaking down some truly shocking cases, so get ready for some wild twists and turns.
I am ready. Always intrigued to see how relationships, even those built on love and trust, can take such a dark turn.
Okay, so let's jump right in. Our first case takes us to Reynoldsburg, Ohio, Michelle Feldman and Thomas Williamson.
Seemingly ordinary couple.
Totally. But guess what? They were running a human trafficking ring.
Wow. That's a shocker right there. How did they even...
So they were using fake profiles online to lure their victims.
Oh, that's so devious.
Yeah.
Preying on people's vulnerabilities.
Exactly. Williamson would pretend to be like the best friend of a deployed soldier.
Ah, so creating a sense of trust and safety.
Yeah, like, hey, you can stay with me while you wait for your, soldier to come home.
Classic bait and switch.
Yeah.
And then, once they're in,
It's all downhill from there. Forced labor, abuse, the whole 9 yards.
this case really sheds light on how traffickers manipulate people. They exploit trust, desperation. It's truly sinister.
And the thing is, even though Feldman was also abused by Williamson, she actively participated in the crimes.
Wow. That's a complex dynamic.
Yeah.
Sometimes victims of abuse become perpetrators themselves. It's a survival mechanism, or maybe they're so manipulated they lose sight of right and wrong.
It's heartbreaking, really. But this case was actually a landmark case because it resulted in Franklin County's first human trafficking conviction.
So, a step towards justice, at least.
For sure. All right, next up, we have a case that really hits hard. Jasmine Gordon and Clifford Thomas.
Okay, what happened here?
They were responsible for the death of Jasmine's 3-year-old daughter, Jamelia.
Oh, no. That's just awful. What were the circumstances?
Straight up child abuse, terrible physical abuse. The poor girl had injuries to her pancreas, tons of bruises.
It's hard to even imagine the suffering that little girl went through. And what about the mother?
Jasmine admitted she didn't seek help because she was afraid of losing custody of her kids.
Understandable, but tragic. That fear is often what prevents people from getting help when they need it most. It shows just how critical it is to have support systems in place for families in crisis.
Right. And to add to the already heavy situation during the sentencing, Jamelia's father actually attacked Clifford Thomas in the courtroom.
Wow, the emotions must have been running incredibly high. Can't say I blame him, though. This case is just heartbreaking.
Absolutely. Okay, moving on, we have Lissa Rodriguez and Christopher Rodriguez.
Another couple. What did they do?
They were responsible for the death of their own 5-year-old son, Jordan. And the judge's reaction during sentencing was, well, you just have to hear it.
So another case of parental abuse.
It is. But what's crazy is Christopher actually confessed to his brother, who was serving in the military in Pakistan, of all places.
So he just, out of the blue, confessed to his brother all the way over there.
Yeah. Can you imagine receiving that phone call?
I can't. What a weight on the brother's shoulders knowing that information.
And the judge was so affected by this case, she sentenced Christopher to the max, 28 years, even though the plea deal was for less.
That says something about the severity of the crime. What were the specifics?
They found Jordan's body buried in the backyard with, get this, mothballs to keep the animals away.
It's chilling. To think about the level of cruelty involved and then the attempt to cover it up, it's just horrific. It makes you wonder what goes through someone's mind to do something like that.
I know, it's tough to comprehend. Okay, last case for now. Seth Welch and Tatiana Fusari.
All right. What happened with this couple?
They neglected their 10-month-old daughter, Mary, and she died because of it.
Neglect? How so?
They chose not to seek medical care for her.
Why? What was their reasoning?
Their religious beliefs and distrust of the medical system.
Oh, wow. That raises some serious questions about religious freedom versus parental responsibility.
Absolutely. And get this. Child Protective Services had been involved with the family since 2014 because of concerns for their oldest child.
So there were already red flags.
Yeah, but it still ended tragically. And during the trial, Tatiana testified that Seth was abusive and prevented her from getting medical help for the kids.
Oh, wow. So another layer of abuse within the family dynamic.
Right. And this case blew up online because there's this video of Seth and Tatiana's reaction to the charges, and it went viral.
I bet that added fuel to the fire, so to speak. People debating religious freedom and parental rights.
Totally. These cases are they're so disturbing, but they force us to think about the darker side of human nature.
No doubt. and the responsibility we all have to protect those who are vulnerable. It's a heavy topic, but these are conversations we need to be having.
I totally agree.
It's about awareness, understanding, and ultimately working together to prevent these tragedies from happening in the first place.
Okay, well, we've covered a lot of ground here today.
We have, and it's clear that these cases are incredibly complex, each with its own unique set of circumstances and challenges.
They are, but there are also some common threads running through them that we need to pay attention to.
Absolutely, like the fact that abuse, in all its forms, is often at the heart of these crimes.
Right, and that's something we'll be exploring further as we continue our deep dive.
I'm looking forward to it. These cases, as difficult as they are, can teach us valuable lessons about human behavior and the importance of intervention and prevention.
Exactly. And we'll be back soon with more insights from these cases and the experts who are working to understand and address these complex issues.
It really is. And these cases really highlight the importance of speaking up, even when it's tough.
It is. It's like that ripple effect.
Right.
One person's actions can have a huge impact.
Exactly. Think about the Rodriguez case.
Yeah.
The brother, all the way in Pakistan, receives that confession.
It's incredible.
He could have just ignored it,
Easily.
buried the secret.
Oh, yeah.
But he chose to act.
He did.
And that brought justice for Jordan.
It's really inspiring.
It is.
Like, we all have a part to play in protecting kids. We do.
Right.
Sometimes it means making hard choices, even when it involves family.
Exactly. And speaking of tough choices, the case of Seth Welch and Tatiana Fusari
Yeah,
raises a whole other set of challenges.
definitely.
Especially when you have religious beliefs
Right.
intersecting with parental responsibilities.
It's a tricky area
Yeah.
because, on the one hand, we value religious freedom. Right. Parents should be able to raise their kids according to their faith. But then
Yeah.
we also have to protect kids from harm,
Force.
no matter what the parents believe.
Absolutely.
So where's the line?
Right. This case sparked a lot of debate
It did.
about, where do you draw that line?
Right.
When does a parent's right to
Yeah.
religious expression
Yeah.
cross over into neglect?
It's a tough question.
It is.
There's not an easy answer.
No. It's those gray areas
This is-
where beliefs clash with societal expectations.
Yeah, and these cases make us think about that.
They do. And we can't shy away from these conversations.
Nor-
We have to be open and honest
For sure.
if we want to make things safer for children.
Well said. And as we're wrapping up our deep dive here,
Yeah.
I hope that you, the listener, are
Yeah.
walking away with a renewed sense of awareness,
Of course.
and a commitment to speaking up when something just doesn't seem right.
Absolutely. Silence can be complicit.
It can.
And every child deserves a voice,
They do.
especially when it comes to their safety.
Exactly.
Knowledge is power.
It is.
And by understanding the dynamics of abuse and neglect, we can all become more effective advocates for children.
That's a powerful message to end on. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and most importantly, stay engaged in creating a world where every child is safe, valued, and loved. As we're wrapping up this deep dive, there's one thing that really stuck with me.
Oh.
The Rodriguez case.
Okay.
Remember how Christopher confessed to his brother?
Oh, yeah, in Pakistan?
Yeah, he was about to go to jail for unpaid child support.
Right.
And he comes out with this confession.
It's almost like he was trying to clear his conscience before facing those consequences.
Yeah, it's really fascinating.
It's incredible that he chose to do the right thing,
He did.
even though it meant implicating his own brother.
And that's what led to justice for Jordan.
It did.
It's like these cases remind us that true crime is more than just a genre.
Right.
These are real people.
They are.
Real families.
Absolutely.
Torn apart by violence and betrayal.
It's so easy to forget that
It is.
when we get caught up in the details.
Right.
The twists and turns.
But we have to remember the human cost.
The victims, the families, the communities.
Absolutely.
Forever changed by these events.
So, as we end this deep dive,
Yeah.
I hope it's not just about morbid curiosity.
Of course not.
I hope it's about understanding.
Understanding the complexities of human behavior.
And the resilience of the human spirit.
Absolutely. And maybe it'll inspire some of our listeners
Right.
to take action to prevent these tragedies.
Whether it's,
Education, advocacy.
Speaking up.
Speaking up
Exactly.
when something doesn't feel right.
Well said. And to you listening, remember, knowledge is power.
It is.
And by understanding these things,
Yeah.
abuse, neglect, the warning signs
We can make a difference.
you can protect.
Absolutely.
So until our next deep dive,
Yes.
stay curious, stay informed, and stay engaged
In the fight.
in the fight for a better, safer world for everyone.